Dvāravatī was the kingdom spoken of as Dvāravatī by the Chinese since the Sui dynasty. The name Dvāravatī in Sanskrit is Dvāravatī. The ancient Chinese encyclopedia Tongtian defines Dvāravatī as a kingdom with city governors, civil servants and military personnel, and the administration of the kingdom divided into provinces, districts and villages. This kingdom was most prosperous during the 7th century when it sent tributes to Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty, altogether 5 times in 11 years between 638 and 649. So Dvāravatī was a kingdom existing early in the 7th century, some 800 years before the Ayudhya period. Therefore, Dvāravatī is the oldest known civilization in the land that became known as Siam. It is the origin of the Siamese nation. According to the journal of the Chinese Buddhist monk Xuanzang, when he travelled to India, Lop was between Si Thep in Myanmar and Sambo Prai Kuk in Cambodia. This suggests that Dvāravatī was in the central part of Thailand. Most of Dvāravatī's population was of Mon descent. In the lower Chao River basin, which is a presumed location of Dvāravatī, there is widespread evidence of ancient Mon inscriptions from the 5th to the 8th century. Dvāravatī was a centre of civilization, respecting both Buddhism and Brahmanism. Evidence of belief of Brahmanism is an inscription discovered in 2019 at Wat Pranam in Nakhon Pathom. This says, the great city of Dvāravatī prospered as a city of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu, together with Shiva, are the 2 most revered deities in Brahmanism. Dvāravatī was culturally diverse, with Chinese and Indian cultures included. Buddhist beliefs embrace both Savagayan and Mahayana. Brahmanism worshipped both images of Vishnu of the Vaisnava cult and Shiva Linga of the Shivaite cult. Dvāravatī existed as an independent kingdom for about 300 years until it came under Khmer control during the reign of Chaivaraman IV, who ruled from 921 to 941. The Khmer then ruled Dvāravatī for more than 200 years. Dvāravatī's population during that time was probably a mix of Mon and Khmer. Dvāravatī was finally abandoned, although we do not know why. Leading theories are that the city was abandoned due to epidemic or that the people were forcibly relocated. The name Dvāravatī first appeared in Thai history about 150 years after Dvāravatī was abandoned. When King Utong established Ayudhya in 1351, he named the new capital Krungthep Dvāravatī Śrī Ayudhya. The term art of the Dvāravatī period arose more than 500 years later in 1926, when King Prachadipok, Rama VII, established a museum in Bangkok to display artifacts with labels. It fell upon Prince Damrong Ratchanopap, President of the Office of the Royal Society, and Mr. Georges Sédé, the Grand Librarian of the Vajrayana Library, to select and name the period of the art and antiquities to be exhibited. For this purpose, Prince Damrong selected a number of sculptures celebrating Buddhism and classified them in a category named the art of the Dvāravatī period. Sculptures classified as such were all Buddhist objects. This led to the belief that only Buddhist art is Dvāravatī art. Sculptures celebrating Brahmanism found at Si Thep, such as the images of Vishnu, were classified 37 years later by Prince Supatradit Ditkun, son of Prince Damrong, in a category he named Ancient Brahmanical Images. Mr. H. G. Quaritch Wells was a British archaeologist who came to serve in the reign of King Rama VII. Wells explored the ancient city of Si Thep in 1935 and in 1969 published his findings in his book titled Dvāravatī, the Earliest Kingdom of Siam. In his book, Wells included Brahmanical art as Dvāravatī art. Since then, Brahmanical art is also recognized as art of the Dvāravatī period. Prince Damrong made an initial assumption that Dvāravatī was at Nakhon Pathom. Evidence supporting this assumption appeared 17 years later in Nakhon Pathom as 2 silver coins with the inscription Si Dvāravatī Sawara Punya, meaning the merit of King Dvāravatī. Later, other coins of the same type were found at Chainat, Singburi, Suphanburi and Ratburi, supporting the belief that Dvāravatī was on the west bank of the Chao River. In 2017, at the time of the International Academic Conference entitled Defining Dvāravatī, most scholars still held to this belief. Si Thep, a district of Phetchabun province, is about 240 kilometers from Bangkok, on the route to Saraburi and Phetchabun. In 1904, Prince Damrong, then Minister of the Interior, found the name Si Thep in the list of cities, but no one knew where this city was. Later, he discovered that when King Rama II died in 1824, messengers were sent to spread the news. One route was to Saraburi, Chaibadan, Si Thep and Phetchabun. He therefore hypothesized that Si Thep was on the Pāsak River. When Prince Damrong inspected the Phetchabun provincial administration, he asked the area experts about an ancient city near the Pāsak River. They identified a site about 4 kilometers from the Pāsak River. He named this site Mueang Si Thep. In 1984, the Fine Arts Department established Si Thep Historical Park at this site. Si Thep is a city surrounded by a moat. It has a total area of around 4.6 square kilometers, with ready connections to other regions of the country. The city comprises an inner city and an outer city. The inner city is almost round in shape, about 2.1 square kilometers, with a moat and 6 city gates. The outer city, east of the inner city, is rectangular, about 2.5 square kilometers, also with a moat and 6 city gates. Within Si Thep, there are around 100 ponds and swamps, with large and small monuments, featuring both Dvāravatī and Khmer art and architecture. UNESCO is considering an application to list the ancient city of Si Thep as a cultural World Heritage Site. The application is to be discussed at the World Heritage Committee meeting on 10th to 25th of September 2023 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. In 2018, a private company announced plans to develop an oil field in the Si Thep Historical Park, with an oil rig only 100 meters from a significant ancient monument. These plans were withdrawn after mass protests. Dr. Piriya Krairiksh, who has studied Dvāravatī art for more than 50 years, concluded in 2016 that Si Thep was the centre of the Dvāravatī kingdom. Dr. Piriya became interested in Dvāravatī art while studying for a doctorate at Harvard University. His PhD thesis, presented to the university in 1975, proposed a construction date for Chulapaton JD in Nakhon Pathom. His research found that most of the art discovered in Nakhon Pathom dated from the mid-8th to the mid-9th century. The suggestion that Nakhon Pathom was the centre of the Dvāravatī kingdom is therefore not consistent with the evidence that Dvāravatī existed some 100 years earlier when it paid tribute to China during the Tang dynasty in the 7th century. This conflict led Dr. Piriya to doubt that Nakhon Pathom could be the location of Dvāravatī. He believed instead that Dvāravatī should be some other city on the west side of the Chao River. This corresponded to mainstream belief at that time. Even in 2010, when he published the book The Roots of Thai Art, Dr. Piriya still supported the mainstream belief. But since then, evidence has emerged both in Thailand and abroad which persuade Dr. Piriya to conclude that 1,400 years ago, Si Thep was Dvāravatī, the first kingdom of Siam.